I am going to reach 100% perfection in Stardew Valley. Hello everyone and welcome back to my Stardew Valley Perfection Run playthrough. This is actually part 2 of this playthrough, so if you haven't seen part 1, I would highly recommend you go back to watch that part so you can see what progress that we've made so far. This video is going to be covering all of the progress that I make in year 1 summer, so I really hope that you guys enjoy. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. On day 1, my watering can was ready, thank God. I got out the summer seeds that I already had, cleared out the dead crops from spring, checked in on my pets, and then I headed for Pierre's. I collected all 3 spring forageables on my way there, which was awesome, so I stopped by the community center to complete that bundle. Summer foraging bundle. Oh! I already have everything. Okay, well let's go drop that off. That's pretty good. Great. Bundle complete. What did I get? What did I get? What did I get? Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. I went to Pierre's and I got my seeds, and then I used the speed grow and the fertilizer that I had to plant them. I checked the mushroom cave and I actually found a morel, so I took it to the community center and I also completed the exotic foraging bundle. I finished the day by fishing in level 20 in the mine. I really needed a ghost fish for the community center, but I just kept fishing up algae and trash for hours, and then I finally caught a fish, and it wasn't even the right fish. But luckily at 1:40 a.m. I caught the fish that I needed, so for the first time in this playthrough, I actually passed out instead of going to bed. It turns out it was one of the Joja members who found me. Ew. I watered my crops, checked on my animals, and cleaned up the farm a bit. After that, I headed down to the beach and I spent the rest of the day fishing. After that, I went home and I went to bed. I also apparently got level 5 foraging, so when I was given the choice, I chose Gatherer. I started day 3 by organizing my stuff, and when I checked the fortune teller channel, it was a good luck day, which meant today would be a mining day. I watered my crops, put 2 fish in the community center, and headed off to the mines. I really needed a better sword, but to upgrade, I needed to be in the Adventurers Guild. So I went back, killed the 2 green slimes I was missing, and bought a new sword. I started on level 55 and made it to level 60 pretty quickly. I made it to level 65 before I decided to stop, and I headed to the earlier levels in the mine to collect some copper. After I got some copper, I headed home and I went to bed. Starting day 4, I made another tree tap and I watered my plants. Originally, I was headed to Clint's to upgrade my pickaxe, but then I realized that I didn't have enough money, so instead, I bought more seeds from Pierre. Oh, and I found some cookies in a trash can and I decided to keep them. Ooh. I went back to my farm, planted my new seeds, and fished at the beach for the rest of the day. I stopped by the community center to add a frozen tear to Demetrius's bundle, and then I went home and I went to bed. On day 5, it was raining, so I didn't have to water my crops. I took care of my animals, and then I went and visited the traveling cart, where I bought a rare seed. So I went to go fishing at the mountains, but apparently, according to my notes, I accidentally stopped at the beach, and then I also accidentally went to the mines, but then eventually I was fishing in the mountain lake. So I fished all there for the rest of the day, and then I went home and I went to bed. It was raining again on day 6. I had a pepper that I harvested and I kept it for the community center, and then I headed out foraging. After I made my way through the forest, I went into town and dropped off my pickaxe to be upgraded again. After that, I headed off to the mountain lake to fish again. I fished until evening and then I headed home. I cut down some trees to collect some wood and then I went to bed. On day 7, it was a good luck day, but I didn't have my pickaxe, so I couldn't go mining. After I watered my crops, I had like no energy because I went to bed so late, so I went to the newly unlocked little spa place to get my energy back up. I checked the traveling cart, cut down a whole bunch of trees, walked around to collect forageables, and at the end of the night, I went to bed. On day 8, some of my crops were ready, so I harvested them and I planted more spring seeds. I took care of my animals and I headed off to the community center. It wasn't until I got there that I realized that my 10 wheat that I had needed to all be of the same quality in order to actually put it into Marnie's bundle. I can't? Why can't I? So that was embarrassing. Anyway, I went to the saloon to give Gus his birthday present and I bought a few more seeds from Pierre, and I actually headed back to the farm to plant them. I spent the rest of the night cutting down trees. I really wanted to clear out my farm, but my pickaxe was being upgraded, so all I could do was cut down trees. Before going to bed, I actually decided I wanted to go fishing for a bit, so I went down to the forest to cut through and head to the beach, but I ended up having a drink with Shane on the dock. Shane, I married you in my last playthrough, back off. On day 9, it was raining, and it was a good luck day. I put 2 things into the community center, and then I headed up to the mountain lake to fish. I fished for most of the day, but after that I checked on my animals, collected the mushrooms from the mushroom cave, and went foraging through the forest. After that, I went to bed. On day 10, it was a great luck day. I spent the early morning watering my crops, accidentally picked the poppy in front of the bee house that I have. Okay. No, I didn't want to plant it. And I took care of my animals, and after that I went up to Robin's. I told Robin to build me a barn, and then I headed down to the ocean to fish. Me and my best friend Willie stood really close together. I fished until like 1 a.m. and then I headed home. I put the fish I caught in the box to sell and I went to bed. Starting day 11, it was the luau. I was sad because I really wanted to catch a gold sturgeon to put into the soup, but I didn't catch one, so I ended up having to use a silver star super cucumber. Say that 5 times fast. Before the luau, I took care of my animals, watered my crops, and then I headed down to the beach. At the luau, I started by talking to everyone, and then I put my super cucumber into the pot, and we got a good outcome. The governor liked our soup. After the luau, I cut down some trees, and then I went to bed. Day 12 was a bad luck day. I harvested the crops that were ready, which was a lot of them. I kept everything I needed for the community center, including a few extras for gifts and such, and I put the rest in the box to sell. I dropped everything off at the community center, and then I went around cutting down some more trees to get wood. I continued collecting wood late into the night, and then I went home and I went to bed. Also, I got to level 5 farming, so I decided to choose tiller over rancher. It was raining again on day 13, and it was a good luck day. I decided I was going to go mining today, but I took care of my animals and checked the mushroom cave first. I headed off to the mines, and I started at level 65. Got stuck on level 69 for a while, but I made it to level 70 fairly early. Level 75 came and went, and I made it to level 80 before I had to call it a night and head home. I learned how to make pancakes on day 14, and the spirits felt meh today, I guess. I checked on my animals and the mushroom cave, and then I watered my crops. I headed out to Pierre's to buy a pomegranate sapling and some more melon seeds. I put a few things in the community center, asked Robin to upgrade my coop, put a few more things into the community center, and then I also added a few things to the library's collection. I went to Marnie's to buy a cow, and I was just short on money. I went to get some forageables, then I sold them to Pierre, and I returned to Marnie's to buy the cow. Shane, what are you doing? Okay, I can get 1 cow at the moment. I'll be able to get more in a little bit, but this is my first cow. True moo. Well, I guess he fits in. I headed out to the mines to finish the day. I only made it to level 83 before I had to go home, but I got some gold, which is what I wanted. On day 15, I started by adding a few things to the community center, and then I headed down to the beach to fish. I really needed to catch a tilapia to finish the ocean fish bundle, and I caught one fairly quickly. I continued to fish until 4, and then I went to the library. I added the last dwarf scroll that I needed to the collection, and I was rewarded with the Dwarvish translation guide. I went around looking for forageables, and then I went back to my farm and took care of my crops, which I had apparently forgotten to do earlier. Did I even water my crops? Oh my god. Guys, why did no one tell me? After that, I worked on organizing my inventory, and then I went to bed. Pam sent me a beer for breakfast on day 16. My upgraded coop was ready, so I placed the dinosaur egg in the incubator. I checked the mushroom cave, watered my crops, and harvested all of the ones that were ready. I put some stuff into the box to sell, collected some forageables, and then headed down to the forest lake to fish, just for a little bit. When it got late, I went home and I went to bed. Also, we earned over 5,000 gold just for this day, so things are looking good. On day 17, even more of my blueberries were ready, as well as some spring forageables. I checked on my animals, placed some things in the box to sell, and then ran to the spa bath place to renew my energy. After that, I went off to the mines. I was able to talk to the dwarf this time, and I bought a recipe from him that was super cheap. When I went down into the mines, I made it to level 85 pretty quickly, but then I got close to dying multiple times on level 86. Finally, I made it down to 87 and 88, but it was so late that I needed to head home. That night, I reached level 5 mining, and I chose the miner profession. My steel axe was ready on the morning of day 18, and it was also a great luck day. I watered my crops, collected my axe from Clint, and then headed off to the forest. I destroyed the log in front of the secret woods and collected some hardwood along with a fiddlehead fern for the community center. After that, I headed off to the mines, made it to level 90 with some struggles, and then I was able to reach level 95 before I decided to head home. On day 19, it was raining, and the spirits were very happy. You know what that means. It's a mining day. I took care of my inventory, grabbed what I needed, and headed out. On the way to the mines, I stopped to chop down a few trees, and I also added a fire quartz to the geologist bundle, completing it. At that moment, I also changed my mind about what I wanted to do on this day, because even though it was a great luck day, I did not want to go mining. Instead, I ran back to my farm, grabbed all my geodes, and returned to Clint's, and I watched as he broke each and every one. I got quite a few things to add to the library's collection, collected my rewards, and then headed off to cut down even more trees in the forest. I also bought a pufferfish from the traveling cart. I really debated this for a long time, but eventually I did decide to buy it. Do I buy the pufferfish for 1,000 gold? Because I need a pufferfish for the community center, but I don't have one yet, and you can only catch it in the summer, and I don't know when I'm gonna fish again. I put my rewards from the community center in my house, namely the blue bear chair that I love, and I went to bed. On day 20, it was raining again, and it was a bad luck day. I collected my crops that were ready, and I was suddenly faced with a dilemma. Because I didn't get 5 gold parsnips in the spring for the bundle, I absolutely had to get 5 gold melons if I wanted to complete the community center in the first year. I knew I couldn't plant any more melons because it was only day 20, so I was really banking on getting 1 more gold melon from the 10 I currently had planted. I harvested the rest of my crops and headed off to the community center. I finished the blacksmith's bundle, which means I actually finished the boiler room, and now I have the minecarts unlocked. I also added the pufferfish to the specialty fish bundle and added a melon to the summer crop bundle, finally completing it. After that, I headed to Robin's and I asked her to upgrade my barn. I went back to my farm, checked the mushroom cave, and checked on all of my animals. I headed to the secret woods, caught a wood skip, and added that to the specialty fish bundle as well. I went up to the mountain lake and I fished there for the rest of the day. My worries about catching a pufferfish were once again validated when it was raining again on day 21. Overnight, I leveled up to level 6 farming, so this morning I harvested all of my crops and put them in the bin to sell. I took care of my animals, collected some mushrooms, and I really wanted to get my axe upgraded today. I went off to the mountain lake to fish to try to get some money, which I desperately needed. I fished until about 12:30, then I ran down to Willie's. He told me if I catch every type of fish in the valley, he will show me something interesting. I sold the fish that I had to Willie, and I still didn't have enough money. I sold the mushrooms I had in my inventory to Pierre, and I was still short by about 79 gold. I tried to run home, grab everything I had, and run back to Clint's, but it was closed by the time I got there. Defeated, I went to the mountain lake and fished for the rest of the day, and I also had to take a pickle juice shot. Not good. It was a great luck day on day 22, and it finally wasn't raining. I put some gold in the furnace, collected all of my crops that were ready, collected some honey, and replanted a lot of my seeds. I checked the mushroom cave, put everything I wanted to sell in the bin, and went around foraging to wait for the gold bar to finish. I got the gold bar, dropped my pickaxe off at Clint's, and returned to my farm to take care of my crops. I ended up heading to the beach and fishing with my best friend Willie until I went to bed. Guess what? It was raining again on day 23. I took care of my animals and went to the community center. I added jelly to the artisan bundle and then headed to the vault room. I purchased the 2,500 gold bundle and the 5,000 gold bundle. I went back to the farm, took care of my crops, and then I went to the mines. I wanted to collect some bat wings in order to make a lightning rod, but there were barely any bats, so eventually I gave up and I fished in the lake for the rest of the day before I went home and I went to bed. It was not sunny on day 24, but it was a good luck day. I took care of my animals, got my pickaxe from Clint, and then headed down to the beach to give Willie a diamond for his birthday, because he deserves it. I went off to the mines, and on the way I realized that I didn't have any food, so I used the mine carts to run back to the farm, grab some food, and run back to the mines. I started on level 95, very quickly made it to level 100. It took me a little longer to get to level 105, and I almost died multiple times on level 107, and then again on level 108. I ended up having to run home. I had tried to organize anything I could, and then I went to bed. I finally saw sunlight on day 25, and Willie must really like our late night fishing sessions because he sent me his dad's chowder recipe. I was able to take care of my animals and my crops this morning before I chopped down some trees, and then I went fishing. You'll never believe it, but I caught 2 pufferfish. I dropped off some cheese in the artisan bundle and headed back to the farm. I was trying to make as many sprinklers as I could to prepare for fall, and at this point I was trying to get enough wood and enough money to get the house upgrade tomorrow. I knew I would be okay money-wise, so I spent all of my time chopping down as many trees as I could and clearing out a lot of my farm. Once I had enough wood, it was super late, so I had to go to bed. On day 26, there was once again no sun. I took care of my animals, harvested the crops that were ready, and put them in the bin. Penny caught me looking in a trash can. Embarrassing, to be honest. I'm gonna check this trash can, actually. Penny, I didn't see you there. I made it to Robin's, purchased a house upgrade, and decided to go to the mines. I used the mine carts to get back to the farm, got what I needed, and headed back. I was determined to finish the mines today. I started at level 105, meaning I had 15 levels to go. The first few floors took some time, and I was worried that I wasn't gonna make it. But then, I was finding ladders left, right, and center. My character was exhausted, but I made it to level 120, and I collected the skull key, completing the mines. We got the skull key. I headed home, sorted out my inventory, and went fishing in the mountain lake for the rest of the day. My main goal for these last 2 days was to make at least 10K in gold to spend on crops for the fall. It was raining again, so I took care of my animals and continued to work on making sprinklers. I went to Marnie's and bought a goat, who the game decided should be named Fernard. After making a few more sprinklers, I headed off to the mountain lake to fish. I fished there pretty much the entire day until around 9 p.m. when I decided to try and catch a lava eel in level 100 in the mines. I failed. Miserably. I went home and went to bed, knowing that tomorrow was the last day of my first summer. It was a sunny but neutral day on day 28, our last day of summer. That means that the Moonlight Jellyfish Festival is tonight and I want to go. Also, our baby dinosaur finally hatched. The game decided that his name should be Lupert, and I thought that was fitting. I collected a duck feather for the community center, which means that at some point during the season I also bought a duck, but I didn't have that anywhere in my notes, so clearly I didn't think it was very important. I completed the dye bundle by adding the feather, which actually led to what I thought was the most amazing thing ever, but turned out to be horrible. Emily's dye bundle. This game is on my side today. Let me explain. Remember a while back that I mentioned that I was really counting on the last 10 melons that I was growing to have a gold one so I could add them to the community center? Well, I didn't get a gold one. This meant that I would not be able to complete the community center in year 1. You think I'd be disappointed by this, but at the moment I thought that I could use the seed maker to grow melons in the greenhouse to add to the specialty crops bundle, which you actually need to complete in order to get the greenhouse. This actually isn't too bad since I can probably get 5 gold parsnips really easily in the next spring, but it is a little disappointing. I spent some time fishing in the river while I waited for the dance of the Moonlight Jellies. I actually really like this festival. I think it's so pretty and so peaceful. I went to the Jellyfish Festival and I talked to everyone. I watched the jellyfish, they were so cute, and since it was so late after the festival, I pretty much only organized my inventory for the beginning of fall, and then I went to bed, leaving year 1 summer behind me. I didn't mean to end on a sad note with the whole melons thing, but that's what journeys are all about. I always try to remember that this is literally my second Stardew Valley playthrough ever, so I think I'm doing pretty well. I will be working on year 1 fall live over on my Twitch, so follow me over there if you haven't already so that you can watch this live. Please like and subscribe if you haven't, and I will see all of you in the next video. Bye everyone!